Musician Talk with Grant Johnson, Episode 11 Updates. Hello and welcome to Musician Talk with Grant Johnson. I'm Grant Johnson. I hope you all are doing good today. I'm sorry it's been a while since I last posted the last episode of Musician Talk with Grant Johnson. I've been working on my mental health and been busy with school as well. In this week's episode, I will be talking about some life updates, some updates about my social medias, some updates about this podcast, and some updates on some new projects I'm going to be launching off. So let's get into it. Let's talk about some updates about this podcast. The last episode of Musician Talk with Grant Johnson was posted in May of 2021. I know it's been a long time in between posting an episode. I know that, and I'm sorry about that. One of the big reasons why I haven't posted a new episode of Musician Talk with Grant Johnson for over a year now is because of my mental health has not been great. Things have happened, and I won't get into it, but it took a big toll on my mental health, and it made it so I didn't want to work on my podcast or anything like my social media or my YouTube channel. So that's why you haven't seen me active as much on my social medias and stuff. So another reason why I haven't posted a new episode of Musician Talk with Grant Johnson for a while was because I wasn't really happy with the content I was putting out or how Musician Talk was going with the episode. So during this time, I was reworking on how this podcast episodes are going to be like, and this is going to be like the old style right now, but the new style is going to be coming out in future episodes, slowly but surely, because I'm still working on it now, but I'm still working out some kinks that I want to move on from old habits of mine. Another reason I haven't posted a new episode in a while is that I was really busy with school. And if you don't know already, I'm a full-time student at a university, and school is more important to me right now than working on this podcast and my social media and my YouTube channel. So that's why. And if you see breaks in between, that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm taking breaks, is to focus on school, or my mental health has gone downhill and I need some time to recuperate and everything. The next update is going to be about my personal life. One update is about my injury. If you've been watching or listening to my podcast from the beginning, you know that I have an injury to my left arm and my left hand, and I have some updates about that. First off, my injury to my left arm and left hand has been going on for almost 3 years now. I can't believe it's been almost 3 years since I first started having pain in my left arm and my left hand. I have made some big changes in my life, especially with my diet, so I can live a better life and more pain-free life. One of the biggest changes I made was that I went pretty much gluten-free. I said pretty much, yes, pretty much, because I'm human. I'm not perfect. I do have gluten every once in a while, but I pretty much cut out gluten for pretty much out my diet for the most part. For the most part, my hiccups are usually having like a Panama chocolate, or when I'm not accessible to get gluten-free food when I'm traveling or on road trips. That's one of the big times when I really am not gluten-free, is because it's hard to find fast and easy food when you're on the road or traveling. That's why for the most part, I'm gluten-free. Being gluten-free has helped me with my pain and the inflammation in my left arm. So my pain has gone really has gone down a lot because of me being gluten-free. I still don't have feeling in my left ring finger or my pinky finger. It is what it is. But I have a lot more strength in my left hand now, and my left I'm still not able to play flute, sadly. It's really sucky that I can't play flute because one of the biggest reasons why I can't play flute right now isn't because I don't have the strength. It's because when I go up to play flute, my left forearm and my whole left hand goes numb after a couple minutes of playing, and I can't do anything about that right now. I'm hoping that I can find ways to work on maybe strengthening my forearm, and maybe that will help, but I'm not 100% sure or what to do to keep my be able to get to a point where I can play flute again without having my hand and my forearm go completely numb on me. And that's something I'm working with some of my doctors with too. But overall, my left arm is doing a lot better. It's still not like it was before the injury, but I'm not expecting it to be back to where it was before the injury at all. I'm just trying to make it so that my life is pain-free as much as possible and something that I can live with. Going into another life update is, yes, going from the update from the podcast, yes, I've been dealing with some mental health issues. Nothing bad, nothing crazy. I just been needy. Just things have happened and took a toll on me with school being stressful and everything last year. It took a really big mental toll on me, and I needed some time off to do nothing or do some things for myself that was beneficial for me, like going on drives or going on walks, just clearing my mind and helping my mental health. That's one of the big reasons why I have not been active on my social media, my YouTube channel, or my podcast. And that's one of the big reasons, because of my mental health, and I'm doing a lot better. So hopefully, if school stays how it's been going for me, we're going to have a lot more content coming from me for all of you. So next up, I'm going to be talking about some updates on some social media stuff, especially on my Instagram and my Facebook page. So if you were following me at the beginning of this year, I started up doing Music History Sundays with Grant Johnson, and that's what I started that up pretty much at the beginning of this year, maybe at the end of 2021, but it was pretty much started in this past at the beginning of this year. If you don't already follow me on Instagram or on my Facebook page, you should. It's at grant.johnson.music, and I already have a couple of them up on my Instagram and my Facebook page. It's this Music History Sundays with Grant Johnson. It's a post that I post on those two platforms. Excuse me. Talking about composers, instruments, music styles, eras, all kinds of stuff about history of music. So they get posts every Sunday on my Instagram and my Facebook page. With these posts every Sunday, I will be having a link in my bio on my Instagram, or having links to 2 Google Docs in my post on my Facebook page. One of the links goes to a Google Doc with links to music that goes with the composer or the instrument or the era or the type of music. And the other link, it goes to another Google Doc where I have some of the resources that I use from websites, books, articles that I have linked into a Google Doc, that if you want to learn more or read more about that composer or era or type of music or style, you can. And that's why I have that another link. So if you want to do more research and want to see where I got some of my information from, you can. Let's go talk about some new projects that I'm going to be incorporating with Musician Talk. and that kind of stuff. With the new project, with the first project I'm doing with Musician Talk with Grant Johnson, so let's talk about that. With a lot of thinking on how I want to keep Musician Talk with Grant Johnson going, I decided to do a series inside of Musician Talk with Grant Johnson. This series is going to be talking about music history. This series is going to be called Music History Talk with Grant Johnson. Don't worry, I will keep on doing regular episodes of Musician Talk with Grant Johnson. With this series inside of Musician Talk with Grant Johnson, this will help me make sure you all still have content every week. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm doing Music History Talk with Grant Johnson, is to make sure you all are going to have content consistently, because I have a hard time at times coming up with ideas for episodes from just regular Musician Talk with Grant Johnson. And what I'm going to say now is this was going to happen no matter what, whether it was going to be a series inside of Musician Talk with Grant Johnson or its own separate podcast of me just talking about music history and sharing my knowledge, and hopefully you are learning something about music history, because I know every time I sit down and do research for my projects, I've learned something about music history, and that's why I love doing this, because I learn more about music history and I love music history. So this was going to happen no matter what, whether I did a separate podcast or just integrated it into a series into Musician Talk with Grant Johnson. And if you don't know, I'm a big music history person. From you looking at what I started on Instagram and Facebook page, Music History Sundays with Grant Johnson. I'm a big music history person. Another project, my next project that I'm going to be releasing, is going to go with Music History Talk with Grant Johnson. Going with the Music History with Grant Johnson podcast episodes, let's take it back. The Music History Talk with Grant Johnson is going to be by seasons, and it's going to be season 1, and then season 2, and season 3, so off. And there's going to be episodes. I don't know how many episodes are going to be in each season, but I'm going to let you know, and we will figure it out together. But going back to this new project is going with Music History Talk with Grant Johnson with the episodes of the podcast. I will be posting videos on my YouTube channel talking about music from that era or composer or instrument or type of music that I did that episode on for the podcast. I will go into more detail about certain compositions, certain type of motifs that composer might have done or was common during that era. I'm going to have sheet music up on the screen showing you all what was interesting and why it was so unique during that time period, or why did that composer did that, or why it made sense for that composer to do it, or that's interesting, why did that composer do that. So, and we're going to be listening to snippets of each those pieces in those videos too, and those videos are going to be up on my YouTube channel. This could be these videos could be more than one video for one podcast episode, and that's what I'm going to say. There's going to be probably more than one video for each composer, era, or types of music. If there's only one video for that podcast episode to go with that, if there's only one video for that podcast episode going into detail on the music, it's going to go up the same day as that podcast episode, that Friday. But if there's more than one podcast episode, more than one video to go with that podcast episode, the first video would be posted on Friday, the second video would be posted on Saturday, and the third video would be posted on Sunday. Or if there was more, so on and so forth. If there was only two, first video would be posted on Friday, the second video will be posted on Sunday. But that's how it's going to go. It might change, but as of right now, that's how those videos will come out with the podcast episode for Music History Talk with Grant Johnson. For the most part, all podcast episodes for Music History Talk with Grant Johnson are going to have more than one video talking about the music. With this saying about the 2 new projects that I'm going to be starting up for Musician Talk with Grant Johnson, I will be trying to upload a new episode of Musician Talk or Music History Talk with Grant Johnson every Friday. This might change throughout the year depending on how my mental health is and my schoolwork is. And don't forget about the videos that go with Music History Talk with Grant Johnson. Those and the podcast episodes could change to every other Friday or every Friday depending on how my mental health is and how school is going for me. So I just want to let you all know it could change on how often I'm going to be posting for these for my podcasts and the YouTube videos that go along with my podcast. Let's go into some other updates. One of them I'm really excited to share. Pretty much there's only one update that I really excited to share that's not going to be put out right away. I'm excited to say that I've been working on many different compositions that are part of many different projects that I'm working on currently when I have free time. And when I say free time when I'm not working on my podcast episodes or Music History Sundays or the YouTube videos. That's what I mean by free time, or not doing schoolwork. That's what I mean by free time. These ideas have come up from me not being able to sleep some nights, from me going on walks and thinking of this idea, or reading books or watching movies, and I said, oh, that's a great idea. So I write it down and I come back to it after a couple of days and really think, is that something I really want to work on and work towards? And some of them I said, no, that's not really what I want to do. And a couple of them, and I have, it's like, yeah, I really do want to do that and hopefully get that done sometime soon. Many of these ideas I've come up with are still in the early phases of the projects. A couple of them are a little bit more advanced than the others, but I'm excited that I can tell you that I'm working on these compositions, and I hope you are excited to see where these projects go and ready to hear them when they come out. I'm hoping that a couple of them are going to be done by the end of next summer. So keep your eye out for updates on these compositions and these projects. The best way to see these updates about these projects for compositions are on my Instagram or my Facebook page, and that's where you're going to see most of the updates that you see if I don't do an update video, update podcast episode or whatnot. So I would like to thank you all for listening to this week's episode of Musician Talk with Grant Johnson. I know it was kind of everywhere, but I hope you understand what's going to happen going forward with Musician Talk with Grant Johnson. I hope you all are ready to start back up with Musician Talk with Grant Johnson and Music History Sundays with Grant Johnson, because I know I'm really excited to get back in the groove and doing these type of things for you all, this kind of content for you all. I hope you're just as excited about Music History Talk with Grant Johnson and the videos that go with it. That the first episode is going to come out next Friday, so I hope you all excited for that. If you want to contact with me and talk with me, you are more than welcome to. I really hope you do, because I really want to meet some of you all, and meet some of you all on Instagram or Facebook page or through my email, just talking to you, because I would love to connect with all of you. You can message me on Instagram at grant.johnson.music, or you can email me at grantjohnsonmusician@gmail.com. You can hear a new episode of Musician Talk with Grant Johnson or Music History Talk with Grant Johnson every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can listen to my podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also watch my podcast on my YouTube channel. My channel is Grant Johnson Music. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you stay safe. Until next time, bye.